to MacOps Product Link hardware training. Before we get started, we are going to examine our safety protocols because we view safety as seriously as an organization, and we want to ensure that your time spent here is safe. So for our activities here today, in the event of any emergency, you're expected to exit the building. You will head east and you will turn right down the stairway. You will go to the last floor and then you will exit to the north. There's a mustard point 2 lots away from here. In the event of a fire that can be managed, there are all-purpose fire extinguishers around. You also have safety first aid responders in your midst, yours truly, and you also have the person who will be responsible for your safety. You have 2 persons, in fact, your safety, and we have Ms. Natasha Ali. Her number is 619-223. In the event that you need any support in terms of you not feeling well or any safety issue that may arise. Apart from that, the washrooms are located adjacent to this training room. As you exit the room, we have the male washroom on your right, then followed by the female washroom adjacent to the male washroom. Having said that, I wish you a safe and exciting and day of learning. Why it pays to know Product Link? It pays to know Product Link because Product Link guarantees our safety. Product Link enhances operational efficiency. Product Link increases productivity. And Product Link also fortifies your professional dignity. Today we are going to learn a number of things about Product Link installation so that we can provide more support to our customers. Purpose. The purpose of this training is for you to be able to install the Product Link on all of our CAT machines, which includes the machines that are used in mining, the machines that are used in construction, and our power generating equipment. Reason why we are teaching this topic, Product Link benefits our customer by enhancing their productivity and having a positive impact on their business. Product Link also help you to be able to benefit from a more heightened customer loyalty and a more better monetary reward. What is the benefit of this competency to you? It improves your monetary compensation and it also increases sales for our customers and enhances customers' loyalty. Competency, what we intend to achieve. This training session is designed to teach you to enhance customer productivity by accurately installing the Product Link, both the Elite and the Pro Series. Failure to install Product Link system accurately result in low productivity levels for our customers. And we want to ensure that our customers can have higher productivity level and do better business with our dealership. On completion of this training, you are expected to attain 80% in a written test. Learning outcomes. So you will learn how to identify Product Link components. You will also learn how to locate information for both Elite and Pro Series publications. You will also be able to determine installation considerations for both Elite and Pro Series hardware. Let's look at product link radio. The product link radio is used for transmitting global positioning signals. The radio enables us to be able to receive information so that we can know the location of our machines. For example, we have machines working in the interior location, in the remote location. You can be in the city, you can be any part of the world, and once you have the product link and it is active, we will know exactly where those machines are. We will also learn how to flash the product link. So flashing the product link radio is important because the radio will not be able to transmit information until it is flashed. Generally, the radio comes blank from the factory, and we are expected to find the flash file from the sys and flash the radio before we can have the radio transmitting signals. The function of the network manager. The function of the network manager is to pull the information from all the ECMs and to integrate that information and have that information transmitted to the customer receiving component, whether it's a cellular phone or a computer, so that you can see that information, the customer can view that information, and they can make informed decision with that information. The function of the network manager is to collect information from all the onboard ECMs as it relates to the performance of the machine, to consolidate that information and to transmit that information to the receiver, whether it's a laptop computer or a cellular phone, so that the customer can be able to make informed decisions about their operation and increase their productivity level. Flashing of the network manager. The network manager also comes as a blank electronic device from the factory, and we are expected to flash it or program it. We get the flash files, or we are able to access the flash files for flashing from the sys. We must flash the network manager first before we flash the radio. That is important. Product link, harness, and antenna. We have a specific harness for a specific product link package. So we need to ensure that we match the correct harness that is required for the PL631 to the PL631, and we use the appropriate harness that is required for the PL641 for the PL641 to work efficiently. We have different types of antennas, and it's important that we select antenna based on applications. So we have internal and external antennas that are used on our machines. However, both of the antennas, in terms of installation, they are expected to be installed in such a way that they are positioned vertically so that they can be able to attract the signals. Harnesses. We have the harness that is connected to the antenna. And that harness carries 3 wires. Those 3 wires are supposed to be connected in a particular order. So those 3 wires define one. One is for GPS signal, one is for satellite, and one is for cellular. The blue wire is for GPS signal, the white is for satellite, and the brown is for cellular. If we're going to be using just the satellite package, we only need to hook up the blue wire and the white. Let me pause here a bit. Just before we get proper into our training today, we want to be able to measure the knowledge that you are coming into the training with so that we will be able to determine our magnitude of learning today. So there is a pretest in your workbook, and I'll ask you to take 5 minutes to complete that pretest. So you may start that pretest now. Good. So I'm assuming that we are through with the pretest. Your time is up, and we want to quickly review the pretest so that we know where we are in terms of the knowledge that we are coming into the class with. So we are going to exchange these papers, and we are going to mark them quickly, and then we will continue our classes. Good. So let's look at number one. What is the first question?
What maximum distance PLE 601 should be installed from the radio?
Good. So the maximum distance that PLE 601 should be installed from the radio is?
100 meters.
Find it in the book.
Page 11.
Good. Number two. What is the question?
Internal antenna should be installed vertical or horizontal.
So find that in the book.
Page 10, sir.
Good. Good. Question three.
Information on updated flash files can be accessed where?
Good. Let's find that in our books.
Page 8. The system.
Good. And the next question.
In programming the Elite package, which module should be flashed first?
And we want to find that in our book.
Page 9. The network manager.
Network manager must be one.
Good. And the last question.
The satellite package requires the use of all three connections. True or false?
And where do we find that in our books? So that is false. Good. Any questions? Excellent. You heard the question he asked? If mounting of the antennas and mounting of the ECM is two different things you're talking about, two different procedures you're talking about, yes. The ECM mounting is different from the antenna mounting. Why? Most of the time, your antenna, you will be using external antennas for the most part, so your antenna is going to be in clear view of the sky. The ECM, for the most part, will be in a secure part of the machine, where it is not exposed to vibrations nor excessive heat, because the electronics of the ECM is supposed to be protected from heat. For example, the network manager is not supposed to be installed in an area where you have temperature exceeding 80 degrees Celsius. All right? Any other questions?
Sure. In the connection with the satellite GPS
and the cellular. Is there a possibility that the cellular and the satellite works together?
Excellent.
Or just one at a time?
You heard the question. He's asking if both satellite and cellular can work together, or we have to have one working at a time. Yes, we have what is called dual mode. So we can have both cellular and satellite. As a matter of fact, basically what happens, your 631 is satellite. So when we get cellular is when we add the network manager and we add the 641 to the package. Any other questions?
The internal antenna, right? Given the fact that you install the external antenna in clear view, somewhere probably outside of the machine, with the internal antenna, where do you install the radio? Outside or within the cabin?
Where do you install the
Internal antenna.
Excellent. So he's asking, where do we install the internal antenna, seeing that you installed the external antenna outside? The internal antenna is installed inside, of course. The reason why the design of the internal antenna is different to the design of the external antenna. So that the internal antenna, internally, it has the receiving aerial. You can't see it physically, but it is there covered with an epoxy covering. And the design of it is of such that even though internally it will be covered by a shed, it will still be able to trap the signals and transmit signals. The external antenna has to be installed externally because that is designed differently to the internal antenna. Any other questions? Good. So at this point in time, we will identify the components. So I want you to turn to your student manuals, and I want you to identify the network manager.
The network manager is identified by number 1.
Great. I want you to identify the antenna.
The antenna is the part with no number.
Top right.
Top right.
Top right.
Two connections.
Yes, sir.
Good. I want you to identify number 2.
Cellular radio.
PL641.
And on which page we can find that information?
Number
Page
8.
8.
I want you to identify number 3.
Number 3 is PL641 satellite radio.
And on which page we can find that information?
Page 8.
Great. Good. So let's look at these components here. So what are we seeing as component 1?
Number 1 is the PL641 cellular radio with an internal antenna.
And that is found on which page?
Page 10.
Great. Component 2, figure 2.
It's a PL641 cellular radio with an external mounted antenna.
Great. So what is the difference in terms of installation with figure 1 and figure 2?
Internal and external antenna connection.
And where do we install figure 1?
Inside the cabin.
And where do we install figure 2?
Vertically, horizontally.
Inside the cabin, but the antenna must be outside the cabin and a horizontal position in clear path to the sky.
Great. And what is being identified on the bottom right-hand corner?
GPS.
Number 3. What is number 3?
GPS.
GPS signal.
And the number 4.
Cellular.
And the number 5.
Satellite signal communication.
So what is the color for GPS?
Blue.
What is the color for satellite?
White.
And what is the color for cellular?
Brown.
Good. On my bottom right hand, how do we describe this drawing here?
PL641 cellular radio with an external antenna.
Okay. Good. Another important rule we have to pay attention to is to ensure that wherever we are installing the radios, that the connectors are properly protected from weather, from water. We need to ensure that the connectors are properly protected from water getting into them. So how we angle those connectors, how we angle the radio when we're installing them is important so that the radio or the connectors don't trap water and we don't have the radio being destroyed as a result of water getting in there. Good. So we have a drawing here, 1 and 2, and that represents what? Number 1.
Harness connectors.
Good. What number 2 represents?
There's the engine insulation, the engine harness insulation.
Good. So we have 2 applications here. One is for the machine, and 2 is for installation on the engine. Good. The importance of PL6 prefix. Now, PL6 prefix, you will be required to use this to be able to access information, critical information for the installation of your product link package. So how do you access that information is by inserting PL6 into the field that requires a serial number in sys. So that same field that you would normally enter a serial number in sys, you will enter the PL6 prefix, and it will bring up all the product link information as it relates to installation for you, which also includes the schematic wiring for all the product link packages. Right? You will also have the different terminals and the terminal designations so that you know how you need to connect the product link. Essentially, you will be connecting battery positive, battery negative. You will be connecting switched and unswitched power. You will be connecting CAN positive, CAN negative, and shield. You will be connecting CDL, which is CAD data link positive and CAD data link negative. So the schematic drawing that you will pull up in sys will give you the specific wire numbering so that you would not go wrong in terms of connecting the product link. It's important that you determine beforehand if the machine that you're installing the product link on is a product link ready machine or a non-product link ready machine. A non-product link ready machine is what we refer to as a legacy machine. And of course, our OEMs are legacy machines. The original equipment manufacturer machines are legacy machines. So we need to know that so that we know that the type of product link package that we need to secure for that type of installation. It's important also that we determine whether we are going to be installing the product link on a mining equipment or a construction equipment or energy and transportation. The product link package that we would be required to install, for example, on a generator, which basically comes under the umbrella of energy, would be different to the product link package that we are expected to install on construction equipment. As a matter of fact, there's an upgrade now where the generators, we can have more information from them if we use the product link that is designed for generators that operates on the platform called RAM. In terms of information, you will be able to get all the installation information from the SIS. Apart from the SIS, you can be able to access installation information from the engine.cat.com website. You will be able to access flash files from SIS. You will also be able to access information as it relates to the most updated flash file, because you need to, it's a requirement that you program the radio and the network manager with the most updated flash file. So you are able to get that information from engine.cat.com. Okay, gentlemen, so how do we access the most updated flash file information for the product link? So we need to go to the website, https://dealer.cat.com. So you will follow with me even as I navigate to where we can access this information. So we go to product support. From product support, we go to industry. We go to mining support. Then we go to technology. You're there? You're following with me?
Yes, sir.
Good. So here we have product link. We click on it. And we are home. So here you can see we have sales, advertising, promotion, training material. We click on product support. And we go into service technician toolbox. You're there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good. So can you see the product link ECM flash file information menu? So let's click on it. Good. So what are we seeing in the first?
Current firmware parts number,
Great.
EL121.
Good. So we'll open that. And here you go. So it's very important that we try to get the most updated flash file number so that we can be able to access the most updated flash file from SIS. So we have the latest flash file at my extreme left under the heading PLE601, and that is for the network manager. And you have the part number below for the network manager, 4174722. And what is the next part number you're seeing? Great. Good. The other important device that we need to pay attention to is the PL641. So what is the updated flash file for the PL641 that we are seeing there? The most updated flash file. No, the number for the flash file, not a part number, but the number for the flash file. Sorry. Good. So the most updated flash file number will be 5834160. So the most updated one is the one to the top, right? Good. If we go down a bit, we have PL631. So what is the most updated flash file for the PL631? Great, excellent. Good, so now we will close this menu. Oh, question? From where? Okay, excellent question. That's the flash file number. So you need to write down that number because when you go to SYS, SYS is now going to give you that number. You need to know what you are looking for when you go to SYS. So when you go to SYS and you double click on the flash file menu for SYS, it's going to ask you for a number. And then is where you're going to enter that number into the search field. Yeah. So the latest update. So we are going to navigate to SYS. You document the latest flash file for the 631. And we search for flash file on the upper left-hand corner. And there we have flash file. So we are looking for the flash file, so we need to input the number. So we ensure that we select flash file. We input the number. So what is the number we would have documented? 568 540. We hit. Good. So we hit search. And here the flash file is being displayed. And here goes your flash file. So we save it, and we can transfer it to a memory stick, or we can save it in the computer so that when we get to the machine, we can program the different electronic device. We need to flash the network manager first because the network manager is the principal communication device. And if we flash the radio before the network manager, we would not have communication in order for the devices to talk to each other. So the network manager is the mediator, is the main part of the communication hub that enables communication to the radio. So without a network manager having information or the personality of how to communicate and how to behave, the radio would not be able to work. So the network manager controls communication in that regard.
So to compare the lead system to the pro system, right? The pro does flash, the radio.
Yes. Great question. Great question. With the PL631, which is basically the pro, the radio is going to be performing the function more or less as an ECM. It's going to be performing the function of not only transmitting, but it's going to be receiving information from all the onboard ECMs. So it's important that the radio is flashed because the radio comes from the factory blank. So if the radio is not flashed, nothing happens.
So after the network manager communicates the information to the customer device, is this information that is available real-time information or the last set information that it lacked?
Excellent question. Yes, the information is real-time information. Yeah, that is correct. Yeah.
What about the file? Save this differently? How you get it out of SYS? Differently from the connection and how we program like the CAT connect, the CAT ET. You save it differently from that when you connect. So you have to communicate with the device.
Yes. It is recommended that you have it on a memory stick or you save it somewhere where you can easily access it. That's the idea, right? Because you're going to be using a number of different flash files for different packages and different applications.
Could the information that the network manager is communicating to the customer device be displayed on multiple devices at one time? Or
yes, it can. It all depends on how the customer, the kind of configuration that the customer wants. For example, the customer could have the information to a laptop, simultaneously could have the information to a cellular phone, simultaneously he could have the information to another remote laptop in another part of the country. It all depends on how he wants it to be configured. The idea is at any given time for the customer to be able to have useful information that he could make informed decisions.
let's say the customer has multiple machines.
Mm-hmm.
Does he use one account to access all those machine information, or he needs multiple accounts for different machines?
Excellent. He needs, that's a great question. Yes, each machine will have a different account. Because, yeah, remember how we register them using the serial number. Yeah. Any other questions? So we just learned how to locate the information with regards to the flash file, and we would have navigated to access the flash file from sys. So how do we actually program or flash the radio and the network manager? So we flash the radio via a Ethernet cable. So we need to connect our ET cable and an Ethernet cable. On the ET cable, you have an Ethernet terminal that you would normally connect the Ethernet cable to. You will connect to the machine. You will go into the menu that is headlined properties at the top. You will change from the port, whatever port you're on, to Ethernet direct connection. Right? You select Ethernet direct connection, and then you hit OK, and you hit connect, and you hit flash, and the process will start. It will show you 40%. Sometimes it will seem as if it is stuck at 40% for a while, but don't worry, that is normal. It will eventually conclude, and when it is completed, you will see 100%, and you will see finish at the end of the process. Ensure that while the flashing is in progress, we don't do anything to cause the power to be disconnected, because we can damage the module, right? So avoid slack connections, ensure that everything is secure properly before we initiate the flashing process. Any questions?
This standard direct connection.
Yeah. Ethernet direct connection. Correct. So you're just changing the port just to get this flash. When you're finished, you need to change back to the COM port that you were using, right? Good, excellent. So we are going to prepare to go to the machine so that we can demonstrate what we would have learned in the classroom. As we prepare to go to the machine, I want to remind you of your PPE elements. I want to remind you of safety. We want to use 3 points of contact on the machine, and we want to be mindful of stepping on and off of the machine, not jumping off of the machine. We need to use the shutters that are there and the handrails as we step onto the machine and as we disembark the machine. Okay, gentlemen, we would have completed the theoretical session in the classroom. So now is the time for us to demonstrate the practical competence on the machine. But before we get into that, I want to remind you of your personal safety. I want to remind you about the machine safety, and I want to remind you about the site safety. We want to ensure that we maintain the 3 points of contact. We want to ensure that we avoid jumping onto or off of the machine. We want to ensure, as it relates to machine safety, that we be aware of the pinch points and those areas that pose a risk and a threat to us. And we want to be on the lookout for trip hazards around this area here that we are working. So we are going to start first quickly by identifying the product link component. So can you tell me can you identify where the radio is? Here. Good. Can you identify the radio harness? Touch it properly. Unplug it.
Unplug it?
Yeah. So you need to squeeze and then pull.
It's just a side.
Coming on.
The side has something to squeeze. Yeah. Squeeze and pull.
Okay. All right. Can you identify the communication, the data link cables there on the harness? How you know that is a data link cable?
So the blue is the GPS and the white is the satellite.
Identify the data link cable here. Okay. Identify the data link cable here. So the objective of this session here is for us to be able to connect to the product link radio, and for us to be able to check to see if there is any satellite in view, and to ensure that the product link at this point in time is receiving and transmitting signal, right? So connect to the computer at the bottom here. Come close. You stay there. Okay, okay.
So could you start it? Let me see.
Just to find ET app, click on it.
We'll go back to this, don't worry. To connect with the radio, we double click on ET, double click on ET. So as we double click on ET, it's going to show you that connectivity is established. When connectivity is established, you can go into status. And when you go into status, right, by moving your cursor, that should be the second menu on the taskbar. You will be able to see the product link parameters and if there are any, at this point in time, satellites in view. Good. So remember, we go to status, right? Good. To flash the radio, we would go to utilities, and after we open utilities, we will be queued. It will ask for the flash file. We will access the flash file. We'll hit OK, and we will initiate the process. Right? If we flash the radio or the ECM for one machine, if the radio or the ECM can be used back on another machine, Yes, it can be, but we need to re-register the radio and the network manager. Reason why? Because the information that you want, it must be unique, and it is unique to the different machines. So if a customer has multiple machines, we must know that the information that we are getting is coming from the machine with this particular serial number. And that is why the serial number is used as part of the registration process. So you will have to re-register. Yeah. Any other questions?
Yeah. Remember the question I just now, right? Was pertaining to lock codes and bank details. Now, when you plug up and you see that the code showing that they got the overheating problem, when you check with the system, currently it didn't have it. It didn't have it, but before it had it. So you're just clearing it. You don't got to do no other changing. There's nothing.
No, the first thing you've got to do is to ensure that the condition doesn't exist. The whole idea, though, of the product link is for you to receive information. As a tech, if you observe that there is overheating issue, you need to investigate what would have caused you the overheating issue, and you need to address that. Then you clear it.
Then you reset it.
Good, gentlemen. So the objective of this session here is for us to determine installation consideration. So I want us to look at the radio. Can we reinstall the radio in any other location within this battery compartment? What do you think?
It depends on the temperature.
So choose.
I don't know if it go more.
Okay.
The temperature would change.
So choose a location. Let me see where you would reinstall the radio. Just go to the machine. You agree? Why? Good. So if we try to reinstall it that side, we can be exposing it to more vibration because that is closer to the engine, right? And closer to where we will have a lot of heat, right? So we need to be careful with that. Now let's assume that we had to install this product link on another machine, not an excavator, a truck. Look at the distance between the product link and the radio. If for some reason the cable is short, how can we ensure that we are able to complete the job?
Anybody?
You.
If the cable is short,
Yeah. If we had to install it on a truck. Or we had to install it on a truck.
try to install it in a location that is well ventilated and away from water, and try your best as close as possible, but keep away from the hazards.
Good. So the idea is whatever we do, regardless of which machine we're installing the product link on, we cannot exceed the distance, right? Which is the 100 meter between the network manager and the radio, right? So we need to maintain the distance as much as possible, and at the same time we need to avoid exposing the electronic device, the radio, and the network manager to excessive vibration, excessive heat, and excessive temperature, and in areas where we can have a lot of water flowing. Good. Are there any questions?
Yes, sir. So in the case you was to update this pro to a system or a pro with a network manager, right? would that be mounted inside here?
Excellent. So he's asking if we had to update the system from a Pro, right, to an Elite. If the network manager will be mounted inside there. Yes, we can mount the network manager within the battery compartment, but there again, we need to ensure that wherever we install it, it is installed in an area where it is not exposed to heat and is not exposed to vibration. Good, so now that we would have completed the practical sessions, we are going to review our objectives to ensure that you would have attained the competence, because I want to ensure that when we are finished here, we can do. So it's one thing to know, and it's another thing to be able to do. And we want to be able to know, we want to be able to do, and we want to have the right attitude. And that is why we have skills, knowledge, and attitude. So read the first objective for me.
Identify product link hardware components for both Elite and Pro series.
Good. So can we identify the product link components for
sir.
both Pro and Elite series?
Yes, sir.
What is the next objective?
Explain installation considerations for the product link Elite and Pro series hardware.
So can we explain installation consideration for both packages? So if I send you to a location in the interior that we have a different machine and a different terrain, can you install the Elite series package?
Yes, sir.
Can you install the Pro series package?
Yes, sir.
What is the third objective?
Demonstrate site search and navigation for product link Elite and Pro series publications.
Good. So can we find the information and publication for the product link
Yes, sir.
modules? Good. Great. So we are going to prepare to go back to the classroom, and I trust that you would have learned a lot, and we want to ensure that we apply what we learned. Remember, the idea is for us to have the required knowledge, skills, and attitude so that we can satisfy the needs of our customers. Good, gentlemen, as we conclude, somebody is going to demonstrate among you today knowledge, skills, and attitude by connecting to the product link, and you are going to check the signal strength of the product link transmission. So I will call on Mr. Dindial.
Well, today my colleague and I, we are going to demonstrate how to connect the communication adapter to the laptop to test the signal strength of the product link. We had a theoretical session in the classroom, and now we will be demonstrating the practical side of the communication attachment. My colleague will be assisting me in the installation. After connecting the communication cable, we attach the communication adapter. We attach the end to be connected to the laptop. And we have everything here with the signal. I'll just ask her to check.
So we would have demonstrated that we have an understanding of the connection between the computer and the CAT data link connector, so that we can communicate with the ECM electronic modules. So I want us to continue to apply the knowledge that we would have acquired, and also to apply the skills. So we want to be able to marry the knowledge and the skills along with the desired attitude, because many of you will be working in areas where our customers will be demanding a lot from you, and then is the time that you are expected to demonstrate that you have the desired attitude to work under a lot of pressure and adverse conditions. Okay, gentlemen, I trust that we would have learned a lot from the activity done on the machine, and we have a better understanding of the components on the product link and how the components interact with each other and how they are installed to get the optimum performance from the product link components. Good. What we are going to do, we are going to prepare to review what we would have done to ensure that we would have achieved today's objective. So we started out looking at our learning outcomes, and we said that by the end of the program, we were supposed to be able to identify product link components for Elite and Pro Series. So let me start with Mr. Ash, and we are going to follow in that order. So what are the components that you will find in the Pro Series package?
In the Pro Series package, you will find a PL641 cellular radio and an external antenna.
So why you need a cellular radio? Why you need a cellular radio in the Pro package?
You need a cellular radio. The cellular radio is in place of the network manager that transmits the information stored or gathered through the antenna to the customer or the person that is monitoring the system to receive the log information or any information necessary.
Okay. Next person. What components we will find in the Elite package?
Well, you'll find a network manager, a radio, and an antenna.
Okay. Great. Good. You can sit. Good. So what color of the wire that is connected to the antenna will carry our GPS signal?
Our GPS signal is carried by the blue wire.
Okay. What color will carry our satellite signal?
Our satellite connection wire is the white.
Okay. Good. What should be the maximum distance the network manager can be installed from the hub or the main harness?
100 meters.
Good. Great. Good. How do we briefly explain where do we get information as it relates to the part number for the flash file for the PL631?
By visiting the SIS network.
We want, okay, you're halfway there. We want the information first. For example, we want the part number. We want to know what part number we need.
The Caterpillar dealer network.
Good. Right. So dealer.cat.com. That is where we get the reference number that we will be able to use in SIS to access the correct flash file to flash the product link component. Good. As it relates to installation considerations, give me one consideration we should focus on when installing the product link.
Shock and vibration.
Good. Give me another consideration.
Temperature.
Great. Give me another consideration.
Sorry, the distance we place the antenna away from the network manager.
Great. Excellent. Good. So we are going to prepare to wrap up. But just before we wrap up, do you have any questions for me? Good, gentlemen. So we would have identified the product link components on the machine. We would have determined the product link components that are in different packages. We would have also gone through the installation considerations for the different product link packages that are critical for the efficiency of the product link. I trust that we would have learned a lot. How you feel? What are your impressions about the lesson thus far?
Yes, sir. I would like to thank you for the opportunity to get to learn about product link, how to install the difference between the different packages. And I'm looking forward to serving our customers, helping them to manage their machine or fleet of machine using the information that I've learned today. Thank you very much, sir.
Good day, sir. First of all, I'd love to say thank you. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to be here. This was a very educational and learning experience for us. Thank you for inviting us to the Mock-R Product Link hardware training, where we learn how to identify, install, and troubleshoot the product link components and which product link is used on which machine. Thank you very much for giving us that opportunity. We're grateful.
On behalf of my colleagues and myself, we would like to extend a vote of thanks on selecting us to take part in this training, where we have learned to identify, install, and service the various product links that we will be using. I can assure you that the training that you have delivered to us, we will be using it to the best of our ability to get the job done, clear and effectively done.
Okay, gentlemen, as we conclude, we have an assessment that I would want you guys to complete so that we can measure our magnitude of learning here today. So you have 5 minutes to complete that assessment, so we can start now. Quickly, we will mark the assessment. So the first question, which of the following influence the mounting location of the product link radio and network manager? And the correct response is B, vibration. Second, when is a radio disable switch necessary? And the correct response is B, when working around the blast zone or other local regulation that require the suspension of a cellular and or satellite communication signal. 3, the PLE 601 is referred to as the, and the correct response is C, network manager. 4, the product link ID or machine serial number can only be programmed remotely, and the correct response is false, B. And 5, what is the difference between PLE 641 and PL 631? And the correct response is C, satellite versus cellular. So who got all correct? Let's tally up quickly. Any 5 out of 5? Good, so let me collect those papers. Good. So how many persons got 5 out of 5? Show by raise of hands. Good, so we have 5 persons, 5 out of 5. Good, congratulations, and that is very good on your hard work. As we prepare to wrap up, I am truly happy to have spent the time with you to teach you about Product Link, and I trust that you will go now that you have a rich toolkit, a rich toolkit not only of skills, but of the values that Caterpillar promote, the value of excellence, the value of commitment, the value of integrity, the value of honesty, the value of collaboration, the value of teamwork, because we would have demonstrated commitment, we would have demonstrated teamwork, and the 5 persons who would have scored 5 out of 5, they would have demonstrated excellence. So I must highlight that those are important values to Caterpillar, and they are important values to our customers. So even as we wrap up this program, you must remember that as you go there and you serve MacCorp with excellence, you need to ensure that you take with you in your toolkit the values that we would have referred to that are dear to Caterpillar and dear to MacCorp as a dealership. The idea is for you to ensure that you continue to support our customers, and as you continue to support our customers will be happy, and ultimately the dealership also will be happy, while you will be fortifying your professional dignity, and you will be on your destiny to something that is great as you continue to develop in your professional career. Go and make MacCorp proud, make yourself proud, and make Caterpillar proud.